Hello, friends. Today I'm host Eric, host talking to famous people. I'm going live. I'm throwing knives. I'm knowing wives, and I'm blowing chives. Yes, if you're like me, you love blowing chives. When they ask you at the steak restaurant, "Do you want chives on your baked potato?" You say, "Do I want them? I want to blow them." And Joey Traveldew asked, "What up, guys?"
What's up, Joey?
No, Spacey. The correct answer is not much, not a mucho, or I don't know, or yeah. Oh, here's Nanos again. Nanos is saying that I'm an ESTP. What do you think, Spacey? Am I an ESTP?
No.
Are you sure, though?
Yes.
Can I be an ESTP today?
You could be one today, sure.
Okay.
It wouldn't be that hard.
What do I have to do to become more ESTP-like? Shove this flashlight up my rectum?
I don't know. Do more drugs, I guess.
I already do a fair amount of drugs.
Yeah, but not SE amounts of drugs.
Or am I doing SE drugs at least?
I guess Adderall could fall under SE drugs.
I always say that to guys, but I've never said that about potatoes. Uppers. Uppers are ESTP drugs? I think uppers.
Yeah, generally speaking.
I guess that makes me an ESTP.
There you go.
What other reasons do we have to think I might be an ESTP? ESFP. Maybe I'm an ESFP in disguise.
You're probably like the world's most intelligent ESFP.
Executing my ESFP sneakery on everybody. If you accepted the fact that SE is new experiences and SI is old store ones, it would be very obvious you have SE Demon in a slot. SE Demon a slot. I do have SE Demon a slot. I don't know if that's Demon. I guess so. What do you think of visual identification of sociotypes? I think it's fine to use visual cues. I think a lot of times correlates are accurate, but it's not a good enough justification to type somebody because ultimately everybody's got their own repertoire of physical cues you develop over time. There's not a logical link why a certain kind of visual cue would naturally link to anything else. In other words, there's no definitional constraints implicit in the idea. So it's a non-generalizable technique, and it should never be used to justify providing somebody a type. You might say at the end of explaining why somebody is a given type, you might say, now, additionally, I'll point out that you do match these physical correlate things too that I note sometimes, but I don't type on that. That's the only right way to do it because you can't justify those physical correlates against anything else. There's no way to test that or pin it down or make it meaningful in a way that gives it any kind of solidity. It's not even relatively absolute. It's just non-absolute. Right, yeah, I got that. The 17X. If I accepted the fact that SE is new experiences, well, it sounds to me like if one accepts that, then one would conclude, I guess, that, I don't even think if that's the case. The 17X, look, even if it's the case, Spacey, I want your input on this. Stop daydreaming and being Spacey for a second.
Okay.
He says, if you accepted the fact that SE is new experiences and SI old stored ones, it would be very obvious that you have SE Demon 8th slot. Meaning I'm not an ESTP. I'm not an SE though. But what I want to know is, do you think that's true? That if we accepted the fact that SE is new experiences and SI old stored ones, that it would be obvious I wasn't an SE Dom? I don't accept that definitional distinction because it's failing to account for the fact that one of those is a knowledge function and one of them is an action function. But what do you think, Spacey?
Well, I mean, It's roughly accurate. I see you going on a lot of stored information from the past. So, I mean, but the thing is that when you're, fuck, I totally just drew a blank, dude.
All right, well, let me talk about this. Matt basically says, Eric, this point was brought up by one of my peers. Don't you figure out cognitive configuration through external displays? Sure, but the difference between external displays that are physical and external displays that are verbal is the verbal has a concrete record of words, right? And I can see about how somebody answers a question verbally, and I can give some explanation. The reason why an INFP consistently answers these kind of questions with "it depends" or "it's hard to say" or "I don't really have an answer for you" is because of yada yada yada, and give you a lot of cognitive function explanation. I can't do that with physical cues. I can't justify why the physical cue correlates with something else, except to say, well, consistently it seems to. Well, then how do you know it's correlating with that? I mean, how do you establish that thing? So if you go, well, I just have learned that consistently these things correlate with INFJ. Okay, but how do you know they're INFJ that it's correlating with? Maybe the thing you think is INFJ is INFP. So you have to explain how come you think they're INFJ in ways that don't include the physical displays, right? So that's why I think it's meaningless to use them. If you type somebody and give those as justifications, you're not adequately justifying your typing of them. So, I mean, obviously, I don't just figure out cognitive functions configuration through external display. That's somewhat reductive. It's true that everything that I can see and receive as data obviously has to be externalized by the other person in some capacity. But remember, even silence or no response is a form of externalizing, and I'm pretty intuitive. I can glean meanings from how people avoid answering things. I can glean meanings from what people's skill limits are. Oh, this person clearly cannot consistently answer the TI questions well. In fact, they can't answer them at all. Well, then I can conclude something specific and definitionally, that they have a blind spot in a kind of deliberation that includes conditional logic, namely TI. Correlational markers, I think you mean to say. What I would say to that is we need to begin with the reality that we can taxonomy kinds of attention, that people process information in sort of a put, get, receive modality, and that taking action is different than deciding to take action, is different than knowing that you're not going to take action. Those things, beginning with that kind of attentional parsing is to point out the fact that existence, one's procession through their life, involves different ways of approaching information or different relationships with information. That if we begin there, then we understand that there's a need to taxonomy those things, and we recognize the fact that when paired in certain ways, they consistently do this. It's going to ultimately boil down to a multiplicity of different testing metrics. It's going to have to test out logically within itself as a system. It's going to have some empirical links. It could reference things like voltology as an assistant tool, but that's not going to be helpful in making your case for it. That's the problem I have with voltology. I'm trying to make a case for cognitive functions that's undefeatable. That anybody comes in, they're not going to be able to negate it because it doesn't make any claims that are negatable. That I can lose on, And so that's why when people often misrepresent me and what I'm doing and who I am in ways that are sometimes piss me off. Like somebody did in a comment this morning on my last Becky video. And basically reducing me to somebody who thinks that, whoever wins the argument is always right, yada, yada, and not hearing me at all, not hearing me about dialectic and what that means, and presuming it's just some sort of narcissistic trick or something of mine, trying to force people to, I'm not trying to force anybody to do anything, everybody's trying to force me, it seems like, but regardless, what was I talking about? I'm going to read on these things and see what else is said. Except the previous fact I mentioned on top of both SE, SI being doing functions, as you say. Well, no, SI is a knowing function, SE is a doing function. No, SI is not doing. Look, SE is the following through on a decision already made. I'm not very good at that in my own life in general. I'm only good on that when it's facilitating my ideation. So my SE is good when it comes to starting a live stream, right? Because that's following through on something I decided to do. But the reason it's good is because I decided 5 seconds before we came in here and started the live stream. On impulse, I said, I want a live stream. So in that sense, because it's serving my desire to ideate, it's very easy to do that SE for me. Remember, the SE doesn't fit into... It's harder to talk about because it doesn't involve a information processing with cognition aspect to it so much as the other functions do. Well, I mean, I'm never quite sure what you're trying to get at here, Mad Biscuit. Do we agree that it should be used as merely a correlation? I don't think I said that. I mean, do you... I said there needs to be a multiplicity of metrics to legitimize something, one of which is logical consistency, which is not a correlation. In other words, it has to be deductively sound. Another is empirics, which is not a correlation, although it could be. I mean, it depends. But if there's a definitive enough correlative link, you could say it's maybe establishing something that's strong enough to be called causal. I don't know. It depends. But there's a lot of different metrics to use. Consistency with previous results is sort of an SI almost kind of metric. But now 17X says, I clearly do the same old shit and don't do new shit. I mean, that's kind of strange. I do talk about cognitive functions a lot. It's a broad topic. I would say I may repeat myself sometimes. But note that I have literally hundreds of new songs, or hundreds of songs that I've uploaded over the course of the years on YouTube. And I've only been doing this for 5 years. I've got videos on every topic imaginable just about. Every time I encounter a new idea, I probably make a video on it if it's exciting enough to warrant making a video on it. You might say, well, you're doing the same thing over and over again. You're writing songs there. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm also making a pond in the backyard right now. And I built a chicken coop in the last year, which I had never done anything like that before. And I've got Spacey living in my house. I never had Spacey living in my house before. I'm all about doing new shit, frankly. I mean, the fact that I'm an old person and have my ways and my history and I'm able to reference my experience and know somewhat the kind of things I want to do and want to play with, doesn't change the fact that that's just flat out fucking wrong and stupid. I mean, additionally, as in any DOM, my primary value is novelty. If something's not new enough, I'm bored with it. The reason YouTube is sort of endlessly fascinating to me is because I get new topics, like the relationship I have towards newness, and presented to me in an adversarial fashion by 17X and others trying to reduce me one way or the other. Say, you're an ESP without any board, which isn't reducing me. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being an ESP, I just aren't. Or saying things like, oh yeah, you're too stuck in your ways to be an ESTP. You're not an SE down for sure because you're always doing the same old shit. Well, number one, go, 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 go. Fuck yourself. And number two, I've never sung it that way before. In fact, I've never sung "Go Fuck Yourself" at anybody before. I do sing things a lot. Would you like me to chant it? Would that be different enough for you? How about if I guffaw it? I could guffaw it at you. So, no. Your wrongness is astonishing me every day. Hey, look, it's 17X. He's so wrong. Hey, I'm astonished again.
Astonishing wrongness.
Yeah. What's the biggest difference in INTJ and INFJ? When you type FE, it always sounds like that is based on you liking the person. I mean, it's true that I'm going to feel more comfortable liking this to somebody who's FITE in general. I mean, FETI in general over FITE. But I don't know. Can you feel the question or two here, Spacey? I need to pull this bong rip.
What? INFJs are, in comparison to INTJs, they're never going to step on anyone's toes, in my experience. They're very good at just kind of getting along with everybody and kind of floating through life without making too many waves. They're just kind of observing. INTJs tend to be a little bit more adversarial.
They have an underlying petulance.
Yeah. Bit of petulance.
INTJs get increasingly sick of not showing you how little respect they have for you.
Yes.
As they get older.
Yeah, every now and then they're like, listen, man, I need to explain to you that I barely tolerate you. And I think that you're an idiot. And you're completely wrong about almost everything that you say. That's something an INTJ might want to say to you.
What does an INFJ use as a workaround for polar TE? I just had a conversation with an INFJ who was full of that. Number one, the problem is going to be person-centered. So it's like, let's say you're a handyman who's got polar TE. Mrs. Jenkins has a problem. What's your problem, Mrs. Jenkins? My sink's broken. Even though an INFJ has polar TE, they might be perfectly able to do that, either because they've learned how to fix that particular problem, or they can look it up on YouTube and get the NI hole of fixing it in some capacity, know they can do it, and then go in there and execute the thing. It's basically taking a TI approach to TE, saying, I'm not going to go in and figure it out actually based on what I'm seeing. I'm going to break it into NI chunks and figure out by researching what the best way to do that is, NI style, and then just sort of hammer through it. And if I don't feel confident that I can, when I asked him like a lot of questions about contingencies, he would say things like, well, sometimes I feel like I'm not going to be able to calm this person down. They're too emotionally involved in it. It's like FE first as his fucking way entirely through the thing as somebody who's doing TE shit all the time. It's still FE shit all the time first. So it's basically an FE workaround where you go, okay, I need to know exactly what the problem is from the other person's perspective. Like, I need to know what's going to make Mrs. Jenkins happy. How's the sink going to look? How's it going to work after it's fixed? And then I need to see what's wrong with it. I need to look on whatever. Now, most things in the modern world don't require a lot of actual TE. They require you to figure out what part attaches correctly to what other part and then screw it on right, It's not like rocket science. The problem I have with my demonstrative TE is I'm always trying to reinvent the wheel. So I'll be like, well, I really should have a screwdriver for this thing, but I have a hammer in my hand. Do I really want to walk all the way back to the garage, or could I try to screw it with the hammer end thing here? I could maybe do it with this. Maybe I don't have to walk all the way. I do stupid shit like that. Well, now TBF, based on my system of understanding of cognitive functions, sensing functions are just that, sensing experiences, so new experiences, not new ideas. Oh, I see. So if sensing functions are just experiences, then what is being stored in your SI? Is it the experience itself? Because that's already passed. That's in the past. It's already happened, the experience. So what's being stored in the SI? Experiences. As what? So, for example, ow! I just burned myself. I can remember doing this. What's being stored there is the experience, the feeling of pain, the physical sensation of pain, so that when I pull it up, my hand once again feels too hot for a moment. Is that what's being stored? 17X? Sounds like your system doesn't have very good definitions of words. You're not meaningfully distinguishing between experiences and ideas. Sensing is not just experiences, right? Remember, cognitive functions are matters of attention that people be, do, and are across time. They are not abstract objects that are held inside your head that are tools that you use.
God, you know what, Eric? I wish you could just stop calling introverted sensing at all, because it always ends up being misleading to people.
I mean, it is sensing in the sense that was introverted sensing. I just felt the heat. That's one half of the introverted sensing equation, but most of the time, we're not experiencing dramatic crises of introverted sensing. We're just on an ongoing sort of equilibrium level. Yes, basically, experiences, memories. Yes, they don't have very good definition of TI terminology. Who's they? I thought you said this was your system. Just simply what works. Well, so, you've got the definition of the works. That simply works. So go ahead and give it to us then. It works in what capacity? You mean it's reducible to some sort of simulatable mechanics of an actual model? Is that what you mean? Yeah, he's totally C.S. Joseph. I mean, this is totally C.S. Joseph land. You have no fucking idea what you're talking about. So what I would tell you is a cognitive function, it needs to be understood properly. If you want to have something that can be validated in some sort of meaningful way, it needs to break down mechanically so you can simulate it like any other good model of a complex system, a complex dynamic system. So we have to understand information is put, got, and received, just as with a computer's ecosystem like this one. So you're not talking about anything at all. You're just that wet brown water that comes after diarrhea is coming out of your mouth. It's dribbling down your chin and all down your chest and soaking your clothes. You smell like shit because you think like shit. And that's why you are now on the receiving end of this litany of abuse from yours truly, host Eric. Congratulations. Not everybody in life gets to enjoy a litany of abuse from host Eric, but you are one of the blessed few. Congratulations. Do you foresee a point in the future when you will give Becky a heartfelt apology? Absolutely not. I mean, listen, I would be willing to give her a heartfelt apology about something. I would be willing to say, listen, Becky, I really do wish, it wouldn't be a heartfelt apology. I'd be willing to say this. I really do wish I had been less impulsive about this, in the sense that I wish I had waited to try to talk to you until after the thing. I didn't. It was a miscalculation for sure. I regret it. I'd be absolutely willing to say that. In fact, I'm saying it right now. I'd be willing to say it to her face. The question, Bill Burr, is there any other human being in this whole equation who's willing to be accountable? Are you willing to be accountable for the fact that I'm the only one who's being accountable for anything? Are you willing to be accountable for the fact that you're trying to poison the well here? Probably, I'm assuming. I don't know if you are trying to poison the well. Depends where you're following up with it. Based on a previous comment, I think I saw it. You put. If you're a serious human being who you want me to take, if you want me to take you seriously, then give me an actual critique. What should I apologize to Becky for? Tell me that. Answer that question. What wrongdoing did I commit? How did I wrong her? No, I would give her a heartfelt expression of regret that I wasn't wiser at the time and made that miscalculation. I can't apologize unless I can be given something that you can say, here's a wrongdoing you did, Eric. Then I'd be able to apologize. Can you give me one, Bill Burr? I would love to be able to do this because there's such a strong impetus of people, a strong impetus to change because so many people hate this so much. So please help me out. Can you tell me what I did that was wrong so I can apologize for it, please? It was not my place to publicly share her story. Bill Burr, have you heard, and are you now responding to the fact that she made no effort whatsoever to keep anything she was doing private? She never spoke to me about any desire for me to keep it private. She didn't express any interest in helping me control the narrative at all. She wasn't willing to talk to me about it and invested no trust in me regarding this thing. She performed as though she were partners with Shane in front of the camera on a regular basis. I can hardly find a picture where she's not all over him. And that's fine. I'm not trying to judge that shit. The point is, what you're saying, it was not my place to publicly share her story. You are incorrect, sir. She invested no trust in me. She never asked me not to share anything. She never conveyed any information to me that information wasn't to be shared. She knew I was making videos about TWFB Summer Camp Week. So acknowledge that you were incorrect about that, sir, please. Go ahead, Bill Burr. I'm waiting to hear you prove to be a decent and upstanding human being. So who did I wrong, and how did I wrong her? How did I betray any trust? How is it not my place? I mean, I'm inviting people here for a week to make videos with me about the experience of summer camp here. She knows I'm shooting these videos. I haven't even put up any of the fucking footage yet. It seems pretty common sense to not share that. Why would someone share something that's pretty common sense? Again, what's the wrongdoing I did? I've explained to you that I'm telling the story of what's going on here. That's a central point of the whole fucking narrative. She knew that coming in. She made no effort to talk to me in advance, hide the fact that she was doing this shit, or anything of the sort. Now, you tell me what I did that was wrong. Hey, can you not smear me on YouTube? That's in quotes. That could have been said by me for sure. I'm not smearing Becky on YouTube. To smear somebody is to say deceitful or wrong things about them. I've been smeared on YouTube about this by Becky, who's accused me of being jealous of Shane or something ridiculous like that. At least she has to other people. I don't know if she said it on YouTube or not, but regardless, it got expressed on YouTube via Taylor. I've been smeared in a lot of different ways. People who are completely uninformed about this, who weren't here, who don't know anything about what they're saying, ignore everything I say and continue to make unwarranted critiques of me. When I call them out on it and say, you tell me what wrongdoing I did, they can't fucking produce one that you can't hear. You say it's common sense. It's common sense that if you go to a filmed reality show week summer camp, that you're going to get filmed and talked about. That's common sense, retard. Matthew Alistair says, Bill Burr, stop being a white knight bitch. She's not going to fuck you. Ron Morgan, you can't spend a week up at a prolific YouTuber's home while participating in the media and reasonably expect your shit to remain private. Exactly, especially if you don't talk to me about it or don't ask me to keep it private. And when I approach you about being rude, you storm out of my house with both middle fingers raised. Metaphorically, not literally. What X? I'm not talking about any X. Who am I talking about? I did take down the video about Becky because I was informed on a live stream that she had put comments asking me to take it down. I hadn't seen those comments. I hadn't read them. I don't really give a fuck. But I was happy to take it down because, as a general policy, I don't want people to be having to see things about them that make them feel bad. You know, I've got a general sort of FI. All right, whatever. People's feelings matter. Becky's not my ex. She was my friend and working as a therapist for me and Kimberly. And she was great. I enjoyed her company a lot. She was exactly like me. Okay? Like, and she still is, except a couple of key distinctions to be made. But I don't even want to get into that shit. I'm tired of talking about Becky. It's fucking boring. But regardless, for those who still want to critique me about this shit, give me a critique I can actually believe. I haven't heard one yet. I've just heard a bunch of fucking bullshit. Mad Biscuit says, Eric, do you believe type can be transcended? Because I do. What do you mean by type can be transcended? You mean you're utilizing functions you otherwise wouldn't or something like that, or being able to draw upon them at will, say, now, activate, FI. Blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, I feel for you so much. No, I don't think that. Do I think that with increased metacognition, people become decreasingly limited by their type defaults? Yes. So having a meta-awareness of when to use each type given the context. Well, I mean, I don't think you get to turn on other functions. It's a meta-awareness that of the limits of your own natural attentional manners that may open up, to a certain extent, alternatives if you're not attending via the ones that's most native. But the notion that it's somehow additive is a mistake. It's It is a movement away from your reflexes that makes you transcendent. And slow. Basically you're more mind. Well, for me, I'm more mindful. If you're an introvert, you might be less mindful. I don't know.
Yeah, we have to learn to be less mindful, I think.
Yeah, probably.
That's really why meditation doesn't do anything for me.
Right. And when people go, oh, you should try meditation because that's what works, they're not getting the fact that different people have totally different needs. Meditation wouldn't really work for me either. What does actually work for me is exercise. Like, if I were feeling stressed or having emotional issues or whatever, I'd take up a jogging regimen or something like that. Society tends to think logic is bad. You're looking for reasons why it's bad. There is no reason. It just hurts people's feelings. Who says that? Well, isn't a function just a way of looking at data? Well, I think probably socionics puts it best when they say a function is an ontological metabolizer. They don't actually put it exactly like that. But it's a way of being through time that metabolizes data, both external and internal, as that process of being. It's important to remember these things are ongoing active processes. And if we try to look at them as stopped, fixed elements, then we lose what they are fundamentally, which is dynamic. I have a question off topic. How do you believe ISTJs utilize FE? Either defensively, reluctantly, or blessedly not at all if they're afforded the environment that allows them to do so? That's the answer. I think they try. Sometimes they'll get heuristics like, I've greeted this person before like this, and they've been happy with it, so I'll just keep using that as long as it keeps working. That's kind of their FE thing. It's pretty ham-fisted, but they're best off when they don't really use it at all, and they're just comfortable with being. They're in an environment that's comfortable with them as they are and doesn't deem that as awkward. Then they're in their best situation. If they're compelled to use FE because the environment is telling them they need to change how they're behaving in some way, that's when they'll try to do it and it won't come out well. Right. But if they're forced to make big FE attempts, then they will make mistakes. If they're left to their own devices and they don't need to use a lot of FE, then they won't. What do you think of Victor Golenko's Model G of the cognitive functions? I mean, yeah, it's way too broad a question. If you want to say, what do you think about this specific aspect of it? For example, some sort of dichotomy or whatever, and explain it a little bit, and I can certainly give you a response to it. But I don't think of things as having. I mean, I don't think about anything other than the correct cognitive function model, which is a compilation of a bunch of different things, including my ideas and other things, whatever, which I have currently on ready to attack mode. Like, go ahead and attack away, attack any element of it. I will defend it successfully. I'll win the argument because I have all the rhetorical slope in my favor. In other words, it's right. So that's my basic position on it. If Golenko agrees with me, then he's right too. If he doesn't agree with me, then he's wrong. And I'll explain exactly where and why he's wrong, where he disagrees with me. I don't know. I haven't read all that shit. I've pieced my shit together with lots of little things here and there, all over the place, talking to people, thinking, opening a cheese factory in my pants, all those ways. Okay, so, what society are you from, lol? America? So it's like INTPs with SE. Yeah, ISTJs can make an effort with FE, but it always seems so disconnected. Right. Okay, Eric, I agree it is attached to being, but I think the reason why it is something that is continuously embedded, popping up in certain situations is because of fear. What is popping up? Oh, you mean the reactivity? No, I think that's just reflexive in the way that your right-handedness is. I mean, the reason I'm an ENTP is because I've been practicing being an ENTP since I first encountered cognitive functions in my life at whatever stage that is. I'm not exactly sure how the stages of development go with that, but once I started leaning heavily on NE and TI and it worked, then, yeah. etc., 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 etc. These are the four etceteras. Now I'm going to smoke this bong rip. Then I'm going to pass the bong rip back to Santiago and Maria, who are my two guests today. They are my Mexican pot smoking neighbors. That's just dudes being dudes. So quit being a pussy with emotions, lol, of Ryan Harrison. What are you, 17X ESTP or something?
It's kind of boring. I don't see what you need to say.
Yeah,
No,
Spacey.
we have that cable now. We can set the TV up whenever you want.
But who has the SE to begin the task actually making it happen?
I do.
Okay, that's the thing. The answer to that is not words. Kimberly's answer is none of us. Spacey misunderstands the question and gives words as an answer. I do. Whereas if anybody actually did have the impetus to go do it, they'd go do it instead of saying anything about it.
You're fine. I can do it while you're in the middle of this shit.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that you can. I'm not human, says 17X. Congratulations, cause you're not human. You are instead a manatee, swimming so free in the ocean. Everybody, I want us all to take a moment to please welcome our first ever manatee guest, 17X. 17X, tell me, how is life as a sea cow? They're a quiet creature. He's probably chewing his sea cud at the moment.
Oh, Eric.
Those poor things get chopped up by propellers all the time.
Santiago, would you take this bong rip in honor of Sea Cow Awareness Week?
See.
Sea Cow Week is the Discovery Channel's second most popular week after Shark Week. It's substantially less popular, though. It's like Shark Week, Sea Cow Week, everything else, you know. Alexandra Cruz says, at Joey, my ISTJ boyfriend cares what everyone thinks, even strangers, always on his best behavior, but people he doesn't have to interact with, he just doesn't give a shit. Okay, well, is his best behavior successful? If it is, then he's probably not an ISTJ. Alexandra Cruz. Let me tell you, I know a thing or two about ladies and relationships with people with bad FE. Now, Alexandra Cruz, if you have good FE, I'm going to tell you what you got to do. You've got to face the truth. You've got to face the truth. If you are with an ISTJ, it will drive you crazy because he will continue making social mistakes that will bother you. We had a neighbor, Kimberly and I did. He lived next door. He was an ISTJ. And boy, the amount of complaining about this gentleman's awkwardness that came from Kimberly's mouth. It filled up multiple buckets in our kitchen. I had to empty them, and they filled them up again.
It's not their awkwardness that bothers me. It's their slowness.
Yeah.
Slowness to get the puns, or slowness
just in everything.
Oh.
So you're always waiting on him.
He's a very successful accountant. Alexandra is an INTP, so your SE is very low. FE is very low. Well, his FE is lower than yours if he's an ISTJ. If you are an INTP, which who knows, but you might be, then you've got 4th slot FE. And 4th slot FE can be quite good, or it can be quite bad, or it can be quite in between. It can be quite, like, amusingly oblivious. You know, sometimes, like, Spacey I'll be like, blah, 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 sitting over here doing with all this shit, and then, like, Spacey will come, walk up, and we'll go sit down right in the chair that I was just sitting in and about to go sit back in. And just sit there oblivious, and I'll look at him. And, you know, sometimes I just go, and I'll just go to the chair or something. Sometimes I'll be like, okay, come on, Spacey. No, I am sitting there. But that's just forced slide FE. He's very concerned about it. Like he doesn't want to be socially vulnerable to critique. Like, oh shit, I should have not sat there at that moment or something. And that's not even like a real example. It's just something that comes to mind. So he's very concerned about it. He doesn't want to be subject to those kind of critiques. So he'll be like, oh yeah, show shit, and get up and like move or whatever. What's the topic at hand? The topic at hand is NI, Path of Truth. Knowin Da Trooph.
The truth.
Spacey, I've got a question for you. What's the difference between the truth and the truth?
Well, the truth is how you say it in euphonics.
That's what I was gonna say.
I gotta go get that tape.
Okay. Oh, you're gonna do some SE. You see that? See that he got the SE challenge from the FE. I was throwing down the FE gauntlet and he got SE on me. One is black, one is right.
Why don't you clean up your desk before he gets here with the big equipment?
I mean, I'm gonna have to put the TV up here. I don't know if we can do this while I'm live streaming. I may have to
At
end
least
this
get it
live
up
stream.
there and
Okay, well, let me smoke this cigarette. Let me throw this refuse in the refuse can. Okay. As an INTJ entering the business world, I need to find someone to help me with social conventions and work around my FE folder. Well, NTPs don't give a fuck, really. That's wrong, Eric, is not knowing the truth, but knowing the things that make something true. What, NI? Well,
all right, here it comes.
I told him.
I disagree with you because I think you're conflating NITE with NI. Okay, Spacey, go ahead and put it down over there. Oh yeah, that's good.
I told him to clean it up before he got here.
That's real swell of you, buddy. Swell like a wave in the ocean.
Where's the power for it, Eric?
The power
For the TV.
Power is where it's always been, Spacey. Inside your heart.
Is there something that plugs into that thing?
I can show you the world.
That thingamabob?
You just need to dance with all of the colors of the wind. Those are the kind of useful answers I give Spacey when he asks questions.
Yeah, I go to Eric. I go to Eric. Can you help me with this thing?
And
he goes, yeah, I'm just gonna make a stupid fucking joke. Sorry.
Yeah, that's helpful, Eric. Ha ha ha. Hilarious.
Can you hand me those?
Yeah. Okay, so. Okay, but look, the whole point of NI truths is.
Oh, my.
Now, some of them are very straightforward, and there's the kind of NI that even an NI polar person can get. An NI polar person can get that, that when somebody's dead, they're not coming back. They probably will still have these moments of like, but I still think they're going to come back eventually. But they'll be able to know that singularity, right? But there are a lot more complicated truths that are the purview of NI DOMs that specifically have a synergy to them that defies reduction, which is to say, like the internet, for example, nobody can reduce it down to machine code. It's not reducible in that capacity. It may be actually, but nobody would be able to do it. Nobody knows everything about the architecture. There's no expert who understands how the whole thing works. We understand when something doesn't work, and we go and we figure out how it works. We'll have to fix it, and then sometimes we don't understand why this system works that way or the other way or whatever, because ultimately it's a synergistic system that produces phenomena that are not reducible to specific causal links, but rather to maybe complex webs of causality, shit like that. So the point of this is that's like a song like "Call Me Maybe." Why is "Call Me Maybe" a hit? You can all NI-DOMs will be able to come up with plenty of reasons why it's a hit, but they'll be frustrated in the sense that they'll ultimately have to say, but the real reason is because it's all of these component things working together, just like an engine. So you might say, you know how an engine works. But the quality of an engine that makes it an NI thing is that if you take out the spark plugs, it doesn't work at all. It doesn't work 99% as well, or just missing these two little things or whatever. It doesn't work at all because it has synergy to it. All the pieces have to be there, and they all have to be working for it to work at all. So that's the quality that NI is focused on. It's also the quality that your mom's face is focused on. I was talking to your mom's face the other day, and it said, like that, all day long. I was like, take it. And she was like,
There's a TV power cord.
Oh, you want the TV power cord, huh?
Yeah.
It's right there.
No, that's not it, Kimberly. Okay, so first of all, what we have to do
Okay, Darren, leave the room.
is find some pieces of wood. We're going to cross it out of wood.
Oh my God! I can't believe I deal with this man.
I can look for
You
it
do.
here.
I say in front of Kimberly.
I
Who
bet you
deals
I
with
can
this
find
man?
it, though, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I think I might be able to find it. Oh my God, is this it? Does it look like that?
This looks like something that would be it. Yes.
I think it might
Can you
be.
guys wipe down the desk before you start
Potentially.
shuffling around over there? Eric, you have a cleanser in your hand.
I've got a cleanser in my hand
Cleanser towel.
and a blender in my heart.
Hi, baby. How do you John?
Okay, right now what I'm doing for everybody, just to keep you updated on this, I am cleaning the desk. I'm doing a gentle wiping motion. I've got a moistened towel that is affording the necessary
Here's more.
oil attaching qualities of lubrication and cleanliness
Here.
and soap and such. What's that, Kimberly? Oh, I see.
Okay, one more time, Stacy, please.
Can you please lift it up one more time? Clean. Everybody's saying cleanliness is next to godliness. I'm saying cleanliness is a pain in the ass, woman.
I see signs of Becky coming out from behind the computer.
What do you mean?
Maple candies.
Oh, those candies, right? All right, that's good enough. Thank you, Stacey.
Okay.
You've got enough SE to build a whole soccer team out of you.
A whole soccer team out of me.
Yep, out of just one Spacey. All right, so everybody, this is your close-up of Spacey's ass.
Oh, get a good look.
Your, girls out there, single ladies, all the single ladies. This is what you will be purchasing if you bid successfully on showcase number 1. Showcase number 1 is Spacey. Showcase number 2 includes a dinette set. So single ladies out there, you can decide if you want to bid on showcase 1, that's Spacey, or showcase 2, the dinette set. Remember, the closest to the exact price without going over will win their showcase. If you get within $100, you win both showcases. Keep in mind, if you win the dinette set, you have to come to the house and take it away.
Can I just throw this away, please?
Also, yes. No, not again. They got that part. Throw that part away. Keep that part.
Put it up in there with
We'll put it up in heaven with Grandma. This doesn't work, Spacey. Complete disaster.
What are you talking about?
Now everything's failed. Maybe we should change this thing to
You have to change its settings.
Yeah, I think we change the input.
Yeah.
Ciao. I think this might
VGA.
be. What?
It's VGA.
VGA?
Yeah.
VGA. Okay.
That one.
Enter.
Ta-da!
And there's my penis for all to see. Jutting from my pantaloons. Can't you see? There. Okay. Good job, Spacey.
I did it.
Spacey, you win the Audiovisual Club's Useful Person of the Year award.
I did it.
Thank you, Spacey. Now I don't feel out of you.
And now, what do we get to see? You get to see me. Yeah, you do.
Can your computer now go up here? Your laptop, I mean?
It's fine where it is, probably.
Well, I want my table back.
Yeah, I could go up there, but I don't know if the cords are long enough to do that right this second. I need to check the cord length. Okay, so let's find out what's been going on in the chat while I've been distracted by all that engineering we were doing.
It's a joint effort around here to take care of Eric Strauss. If I wouldn't have ordered the cord.
We should all mute and have text conversation. Hey, Grape Winters. That is so mean. You totally hurt my feelings. With it being TINENIFESITESEFI. Okay.
Why does he say that this channel has finally hit rock bottom, it seems?
Oh, well, because he's a hater. We encounter a certain amount of that, increasing amount of it, because I guess probably just for being more successful. So, like, the CS Joseph crowd is insanely hateful. There's also a lot of individual people who just sort of hate me because.
Is that your freaking salad over there?
Whoops.
Is that
You better
your
go get that
salad?
shit in the trash can right now, unless you want to go to your room.
Kim, I got so busy.
No excuses. Monty, probably would love to devour that.
Okay.
Put it on the ground.
So, Damon Black says, lol. And Alexander Cruz says, Joey, yeah, I've never said he was in the wrong, but just said to maybe be more aware. What type are you, by the way? Honestly, ISTJs have been my favorite types. Ryan Harrison says, yeah, always chasing greater meaning. Grave Winter says, this channel has finally hit rock bottom, it seems. That's very gloom and doom of you. Believe me, we can go much, much lower than this, Grave Winters. Alexandra Cruz, Spacey, you're just flashing your butt. Lamau. Danny Hall. Hi, guys. Hi, Danny Hall. You may have seen a little bit of the Spacey action there. You know, I don't know if you're a single lady or you're representing. Grave, I may have agree with Yo. I may have to agree with you. It gets better, Grave. It does get better. Substantially. It also gets substantially worse. Dylan Black, hi. Hi. I don't think I know any other ISTJs than my husband. I'm INFJ, and he and I work in ways that don't make sense, I don't think. You don't think they don't make sense? So you do think they do make sense? How the hell did that happen at Shabadoo? Alexander Cruz. Lol, imagine the chaos that would ensue if this were an ENFP ISTJ and INTP cleaning shit. We'd all be fighting. I don't mind the pseudo-intellectual ENTP nonsense, but watching random mumbo-jumbo is disservice to the viewers. Well, sorry, fuckface. My computer broke the other day, and I just reset it up with the TV functioning now because we got this cable in the mail today. I didn't want to stop live streaming, but, Spacey has a limited amount of
That's
SC
what
capacity.
you get here. Ask all the members.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, then leave. We don't want you here.
Don't worry, Great Winners. You're not constipated. That's just my foot up your ass. Joey Joe Shabba. Yes, I'm constantly feeling my husband cues on how to better socially interact. Feeding, she means to say, I believe. 17X. Interesting. With the little bit of a beard pull. Zayden Black. That's how it was with me and my hubby and I and we. Bill Burr, we are all here to see Eric through another retard fit at Grave Winters. Ah, you found a companion, Bill Burr. You and Grave Winters can talk shit. I will get you to read it out loud too. It's a privilege. As long as you don't pass any obvious lines, then I'm like Obi-Wan Kenobi in that regard. It doesn't show you any good. Please tell Spacey Margie says hi. Spacey!
Margie!
Spacey, hey, Margie says hi.
I haven't forgotten you.
Spacey hasn't forgotten you. He loves you. I think he said something about going to war in 1918 France. Are you an INTJ, Grave? Yeah. Hey, Sarah Keely has a good question there. Grave Waiters, are you an INTJ? You seem rather humorless and severe. Okay, let's see what else we got here.
Lots of chickens.
Joey Joe Shabadoo says, it's possible one or both of us is mistyped, but I've had several people confirm my type in person, and he is a textbook INTJ. JJJS, your type is INFJ. Zachary Gibson, lol, you're watching the stream, Grave. I'd say that's 1 Eric, 0 Grave. Joey Joe Shabadoo, thank you, Zachary, for the vote of support. Tell Kimberly hi. Hi, Kimberly!
Hi!
Madam Business 20, Eric, do you agree with a cognitive function hierarchy of TINENIFESITESEFI? Hierarchy of what? Like, in what way? Like, best to worst or something? I mean, what do you mean hierarchy? Why would they be hierarchized like that? Is that in terms of most metaphysical to least? I wouldn't have it linked. I wouldn't have it listed that way. But I'm. It's a bit of a mushy idea, so I'm open to hearing why it would be that way. I tend to think of NI as most metaphysical.
What are chicken friends?
Eric, you gotta get a picture of this.
Then TI, then FE,
Eric.
then NE. Get a picture of this? Okay, with my camera or with this camera?
For some reason, you've got a poultry.
I've got a lot of chicken
got a-
friends, and they're
you've got
dancing around, and they're friends
poultry
to
audience.
everyone. Okay, so anyway, let's return to our regularly scheduled chat read. I'm still wondering if I hear a chicken or is it a strangely vocal cat. It's 2 chickens. What's your opinion on Dave's superpowers animals? I don't know
It's
anything about his
both.
animals. You mean his, like, I don't know what that means. Does he have, like, tigers and lions and bears now or something? Crickets Z
Run,
says
Stacey,
Grave
run.
Winters. Crickets, sleeping sound, says
Run.
Grave Winter. Yawn, says Grave Winters. Grave Winters is so unimpressed.
Then fucking leave.
No, Kimberly, no. He's successfully making me feel bad. This is fucking pure gold for him.
Why are you feeling bad for that?
Well,
idiot?
because he is not entertained. My goal in life is to make sure that when Grave Winters, here's my words, he doesn't associate with crickets and Z's. He doesn't associate with yawns. No. He associates it with hilarity and good cheer, with correctness and his own schoolage. It's a chicken. Red or mod, it's both. Sigh, says Grave Winters. Oh, he's sighing, see? It didn't work again. I keep looking up quadra and which types belong to them, but I keep reading different answers. Who belongs to the alpha, beta, gamma, quadra, or whatever quadra? Alpha is ENTP, INTP, ESFJ, ISFJ. Beta is ISTP, ESTP, INFJ, ENFJ. And then the other quadras, I don't know. I always forget those ones, which ones are which. Let's see. 17X, INTJs apologize. The shit doesn't even make sense. Aha, thank you, adorable heart. Sarah Keelian. I was wondering because I'm ISFP and some things I relate to. Let's see. You're wondering what? Oh. I see. So Bill Burr says run, Spacey, run. Okay. 17X. Well, but interesting enough for you to take the time to say yawn, cricket, sigh, etc. I agree with Winters. His words, not mine. His wise and insightful and astute words, but regardless. Sleep Blast Play. I think that's just dumb. Top Drop and Roll. Spacey. So Bill Burr and this other guy. No, Bill Burr is giving you advice that you're in some sort of danger or concerning space. Do you feel like you're in danger zone?
Yeah.
Because I'm the cult leader, I'm the guru, and I'm, I don't
Would you
know.
like a glass of Kool-Aid?
I'm passing out Kool-Aid every day. Except I'm not, though. So, Eric, what fixed your guys' relationship with adopting a son? Didn't hurt. Absolutely did not hurt. Eric knows me well. He plays a good game. Why do we have to watch the creepy dude petting chickens? Oh, Grave Winters. Tell me how you would see the difference between being an INFJ raised in an ESTP ESFJ home. I mean, it's hard to say because, like, I had an ESTJ father and an ISFJ mother, and I was raised really well. I don't think most people would assume that ESTJ is a type that would necessarily mesh well with ENTP, and I think in general that's true that they don't. But I had a really good relationship with my dad, and I really respect him, and it just wasn't my experience. So it really depends on a lot of factors that may not be typally related. I definitely think it helped me a lot having an ISFJ mother. Having my dual with a mother, I had somebody who was actively and genuinely appreciating me when I was the better manifestations of myself, and actively and genuinely being disappointed by me when I wasn't. Which, given FE third slot, means there was a whole lot of ontology shaping based on my parents' sort of genuine good parenting of me. Like, they really wanted what was best for me. They really wanted me to be happy. They really suggested that I do shit that makes me happy and not worry about it. It's like they really did an excellent job. So, as a consequence, it's hard to say how much of that is type. But it feels like, at least with my mom, it was. I couldn't have had that sort of relationship without an ISFJ. I could imagine having a different dad who was really nice in other ways. It was good, but it helps to have a benefactor. A benefactor is your father. That's a good person to have as your benefactor, right? Let's see. So when are we making chicken nuggets? We are not making chicken nuggets with those chickens. Normally, we make chicken nuggets by putting them in the microwave from the frozen box. Bill Burr wants to know why is Spacey living with me. Well,
Because he's my daddy.
You'd have to ask Stephen.
Yeah, Kimberly and I decided to become, in order to rewrite our own past, we chose to invent a history in which, when we were 20, no, Cam, you're forgetting the history, okay?
Oh, okay.
We were 21.
Uh-huh.
You had the bright apple cheeks and hot, firm body and big tits of a 21-year-old. Me, I was skinny and awkward. Anyway, we mated back then, only to part. We parted for a long time after we mated when we were both 21.
Mm-hmm.
But the secret issue of that union is Spacey here. And he's returned home after college. And when we're at the store, yeah, he's back from college. Well, he's figuring it out still, you know. He's staying in the basement. It's fine. No, we love having him there. He's a joy. He really is. Let's see. Yo, Eric, review Rumination's music. That shit is amazing. I didn't even know he made music. Isn't obsessing over MBTI counterproductive? I mean, I don't think I'm obsessing over MBTI. It's actually the only thing that's productive, really. It's like, I make videos on all kinds of topics, but the ones that get the most views are ones about MBTI shit, by far. So, yeah, it gives people what they want. Hey, Freddie Chandran. Freddie Chandran's here. Thank God. Spacey is there for emotional cohesion. Spacey's here for his own reasons, you know? Spacey's
your
Space-
business.
Spacey's here because you need
None your
Kimberly.
businesses.
Kimberly. It's fine. I
Would you
agree.
ask Spacey if it's
Listen.
Whatever.
Let me speak my story before you presume it's not going to work. Okay. The bottom line.
He's got-
so why is a weird kid living with you?
He's got kind of a point, though.
Spacey needed to change. It's time for a change. It's time to shake shit up. He needed a blast to SE. And the slabs indicated to me at a certain point that I was intended to provide him that. So when it came time for him to go back, he was going to go back and then come back again. And I just said, no, here's your SE. Don't get on that plane. Just stay. And that's what happened. He said, okay, I'm going to go with that. I normally don't go with that shit. He rejected his own native reflective countervaluing of my NI and said, I'm going to go with that NI this time. It's the stuff of slab shifts,
Well, I always regret it when I don't go with it. But I still continuously ignore it anyway, most of the time.
It had to be framed as, in that circumstance, easy to go with the plan because it required less SE in the moment.
Right.
That's called weighting the slabs. Weighting the slabs in your favor.
Oh, wait, so all I have to do in order to do something is just not do anything now?
In that instance, because it was structured that way, because, well, I did a little slab wrangling. But anyway, I didn't have that intention in mind, of course. You can't be you can't be ahead of the slabs. That's paradoxical. Anyway, so let's see here. Where's the pseudo-intellectualism I came here for?
Oh, so I think Mad Biscuit must have told him to come check it out.
Who?
Maybe. Grey Wonders, it only occurs in sparks.
It's natural like that. Yeah. Four sides of the mind and so forth. There you go. So why is it weird? Let's see.
Why is the weird kid living with you?
Why is the weird kid living with me? Well, because I wasn't about to let him go to your house.
Including weird.
I wouldn't want
He's the
to.
weird one for sticking around.
I wouldn't want to have to endure that. I can't get anybody to even let me in. Let you in where? Let you into your house? Let you into their heart? Let you into their life? As a fellow SC poor, you've plenty of time. How many different ways can you say the same thing? 2, 3, 100, 1,000? Depends what the thing is I'm trying to synonymize. Would you like me to check and see? Would you like to test me with something? Give me something you want me to say in different ways. Oh my, Horse Mumbler says. Well, yeah, I'm talking about for you guys, not him. Why are you talking that way, Eric? You sound kind of drunk. Well, I don't know. I'm not drunk. I have drinking no alcohol. I've had 2 non-alcoholic Becks today.
Oh, look at what Bill Burr's saying.
Share Stacy's reasons. You shared Becky's story. Who's Stacy?
I'm Stacy.
Oh. Well, I mean, first of all, I did share his reasons. I already told you the answer. But that seemed to have escaped your notice, and you just went ahead with your plan for some reason. So I guess rewind. What are slabs? Good question, Zaylen Black. Slabs are the things that we all must deal with. We can only wrangle them. We can never be ahead of them. They are the narrative forces that drive the decision-making, ontological shimmer of life, In other words, you trap yourself by saying certain things repeatedly. You establish certain identity narratives that lock you into behaving in certain ways. As I've gotten older, I've walked an increasingly narrow path. So, it's like I'm very cautious not to do things that I can be legitimately critiqued about. So Bill Burr says, share Spacey's reasons. You shared Becky's story. First of all, Choosing to share one thing that's perfectly okay to share does not obligate me to share everything in the world that you want me to share. So that's just fucking stupid.
Stacy is my pretty little rave girl alter ego.
But you didn't think at all before you said that. You're just like, I'm gonna make an ass of myself again. So, I've got one of these for you, I've got one of these for you, and I've got a fuck you, you worthless piece of shit for you as well. That's a little slab wrangling. I'm wrangling your slabs to help jostle them from their currently filthy paths. You want the dirty details like Becky's. Well, why do you... I didn't give any dirty details of Becky's. I just shared my experience. My experience of why Spacey is here is what I said. He needed a change. He was tired of being an electrician in New York. He'd been feeling like, I don't know, feeling pointless. And it's something we've talked about over the course of a long time.
Jeez, Bill Burr is pretty obsessed over Becky.
Well, Bill Burr is really frustrated because he can't come up with a single legitimate critique of me. If he had
really
one,
cares about Becky.
Yeah,
he has some kind of attachment to Becky.
I mean, I wasn't going to say it, but it seems pretty obvious. He's got a little thing for her.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. What type are you, Zachary Gibson? Zachary Gibson's? I don't know. Stressing over MBTI is the only thing productive. Lol. Thank you for laughing at my comment. Grape Waters, I sense a TE valuing. Yeah, you think, that biscuit? INTP says Zachary Gibson. Voodoo equals homos. If only you displayed the same class in Becky's situation.
Here we go again.
If I was so classless, explain to me what I ought to have done differently and why, instead of just attacking and attacking and attacking like a petulant little bitch. So, Bill Burr, from now on, I'm going to refer to you as petulant little bitch, okay? Throw up fancy rhetoric and invest in a bong rip. Whatever type I want to be, noobs. Oh my God, how old are you, Grave Winters? Seriously. I don't want to have... Look, the thing is...
23, what are they?
No, he's like 15. Take it easy on Grave Winters. He's probably like 15.
Probably an INTJ.
Yeah, he's like a 15-year-old INTJ. So
exactly.
don't come down too hard on him. Bill Burr is just a scumbag. So taking an INTP to help them grow, yes, help us take over the world. I mean, and to benefit, it's a synergistic thing, or whatever it's called. Yep, def. What? Okay. Where am I now? What is the truth? The truth is the truth. What type are you, JoJo? What are you referring to? INFJ. What do INFPs eat up? Mad Biscuit. INFP wouldn't rage out. This type of content. Actually, they can rage out at Grave. And then I turned into an INTJ at Mad Biscuit 23. Graves values TE I sent. You? Anyone can rage, but INFP isn't going to start online fights typically anyways. That's true. Not truly raging out requires a certain amount of SC at Sarah Killian. WDYM, I'm manatee. What does that WDYM mean? You know what that means?
What do you mean?
Oh. It means you are manatee. 17X, you're 17X. Except when in TE group. Correct. 17X, you're right. You are a manatee. Mariam Rad. It sounds like a process of narrowing every decision and following the path of decision until you die. Something like combining destiny and free will. Yeah, that's an accurate first read. Interestingly accurate first read of things. Mariam Rad. Rod. RAAD. Types, in quotes, don't exist. Right. You know, that's why when you asked for a sedan, I gave you this big rig because, you know, they're all vehicles, for Christ's sakes. You're to separate them into sets. What kind of fucking lunatic would do that? Hey, I know you asked for corn. I gave you vegetables, okay? What are you complaining about? There's no types of vegetables. They're all the same. They're all vegetables. Hey, I know. I put you in a class with a bunch of retarded people because that's where you belong. Do I consider myself a BAMF? What's a BAMF?
Badass motherfucker.
No. I consider myself a regular guy who has fun on YouTube. You know, it'd be cool if you did another stream with right ruminations about typology. You know, I have only so much energy to direct your typology. As an INTP, I actually really love INFPs. They remind me of myself in a different sort of way. I think Spacey does too. He seems like to really feel affectionate towards his aunt.
I love INFPs.
Who we just hung out with, was an INFP. And she was such an INFP.
Yeah, was she not? From the very beginning.
Let's see here. What functions is randomness? Well, that wouldn't be a cognitive function. See, a cognitive function is a way people pay attention. Randomness is not a way people pay attention. So cognitive function isn't anything and everything in the universe. It's something specific. Yeah, you have the luxury of being well equipped at accomplishing your goals without giving a shit about what others think about you. At MadBiscuit23. They can tell when someone's authentic and when someone's a fake POS. What function is something random? Nothing. Again, function is an intentional manner. CHF doesn't even know his own type. You're correct about that. INTJ is cool, but I mean there's a lot of pains associated with it. Do you have any advice for somebody who wants to type themselves accurately? Pay Eric $100. Oh wait, you said type yourself. Imagine paying Eric $100 and imagine all the things that he would do and then do that to yourself. Learn cognitive functions, says 17X. That's about as good as my advice. Grave Winters, no functions are randomness. No, any is randomness. No, it's not randomness. I mean, there is some randomness to it, for sure, I guess. But I can trace back the links. It's an associative thing that's particularist, linked with a universal takeaway thing, linked with something particular in the sensory field, data field. You get all three of those elements. You combine them, that's how you get any, basically. Look at Eric in this live stream, FFS. What does FFS mean?
For fuck's sake.
Oh, for fuck's sake, right. Aw, you sure? Am I sure what, Grade Winners? I'm sure about something. I am pretty sure. Let's see. So if not paying attention, then your thought is random. I mean, attentional manners are ways of, more precisely, they're ways of metabolizing information. So the thing is, an SI link, for example, an associative link, the pool of data that it's linking back to is certainly not arbitrary or random. It's things from your experience. But it's not a conscious or willful decision to pull up this memory or that memory. The association is automatic. So it's a much more complicated reality than that. First of all, Grade Winners, if you want to ask real questions about it, you need to start by saying, okay, some applications of attention are putting information. Some are getting information. Some are receiving information. Understand that distinction first. And then you can start asking some meaningful questions about what I mean by, like, how would that play out with this or whatever, because you're trying to do a TI thing here. You're way out base. You're already fucking clusterfucked yourself into the toxic waste stuff. So I'm trying to fix that ahead of time. Do it right, okay? How can you tell if you're an ISFP or just an unhealthy INFP? I mean, it's like,
that's such a weird question.
Since when are ISFPs the same as unhealthy INFPs? It's like,
yeah, there could not be like.
It's like somebody gave you a type description. It's like, okay, you're an ISFP. Now, Hear me out. What an ISFP is, it's basically kind of like a broken, fucked up INFP. Okay, that's what you are. No, ISFPs are not like broken INFPs. They're ISFPs. They're totally different.
Unless they're broken up.
I mean, yeah, regardless of if they're broken or not, they're going to have a good
There's also
incarnation
going to
of
be broken
SFP.
INFJs.
Well,
Or whatever, INFP, whatever.
I have seen a couple cases of the reverse of that where there's an ISFP who thinks they're an INFP because they're not so outgoing or whatever. But, you know, I've never seen it the way they just asked it.
Okay, so I was taking the Right Ruminations music review request. Okay, I'll check it out. I'm curious. I didn't even know he had music. I kind of had to be. Most of my relatives are NPs, so it's be random or don't survive. Fear of giving a part of themselves to someone for them to just piss all over it.
Show your Uncle Spacey what you're doing.
Aw, Sarah Killian. And then 2 frowny faces. Ultimately being led on through falsehood. Bruh, your INFJ is fuck at Mad Biscuit. 17X, you're really fucking stupid, said Mad Biscuit. ISFPs are more about the brand and being seen. INFPs comfortable in the background, whereas ISFPs won't have that shit. Probably the most extroverted of the introverts. ISFPs, if you ask them what they want to do, if you ask them their ideal day, it'll be something like sailing, going to the spa, getting a massage, or hiking, or getting out in the woods, or going out and doing shit, or whatever. If you ask an INFP what their ideal day is, they'll go, ooh, that's really hard to answer. I guess it would depend on, That's the difference right there. Grave winners. You're still distilling information like you said. I didn't distill information, I just created it.
Out of thin air.
Out of nothing.
Bam.
Nothing but my attention. My intention and attention. Okay. Okay. No, it's okay, Sreddy. I love those types. No, you don't, Sarah. Secretly, you hate them. I'm sorry, Sarah. I was slandering you earlier. I was saying you secretly hated those types. I was just jealous of you. Okay, Sreddy Chandran. Well, the thing with ISXPs is that they are really good listeners and they understand everything that you say to them. It's only when you put them on the spot and ask them to keep the conversation. Right. Then you find that the absence of extroverted intuition is like an anchor of social quiet that falls upon the conversation. Thanks, Alexander Cruz. I am most comfortable in the shadows. That's why they call me Sailor Black. I would absolutely love to just express my love to someone, in a friend or a lover or something, but I just know that's not real. Says no INTJ ever. So who says that? How is that a weak answer? It totally invalidates the assumption on which your question was based. It's a completely strong answer. It wins the point and it's binary. It knocks yours out of, because there's different ways to respond. There's a lot of different ways to rebut a response, right? So if you make an argument and I rebut it with a mitigator, then what I'm saying is you're saying it's true, but it's less true than you think, or it has less impact than you think. But instead, I negated it entirely. I disproved the assumption on which the question was based, which is a very strong answer. And insane weak answer, you're just demonstrating that you're not being objective about the realities of the argumentation here. So, sorry. Bam, out of thin air. Hello, host Eric, Pretty Kimberly, and Spacey in the shadows. Hello from me. Hello from Kimberly. And hello from Spacey. Would you like to say hello yourself? You're welcome to, of course.
Hello.
You really don't understand first thought FI, Mr. Man, says Mad Biscuit. ISFP's most comfortable in the shadows. That's where they belong.
Then leave.
But they're the quiet kids who crave the limelight. Who are you telling to leave to?
Brave Winters.
Grave Winter, MBTI, boring as fuck. Well, I am going to hope that by talking to you directly, Grave Winters, you stick around a little while longer. But you know what? the really, really exciting part is coming up next. And as soon as you leave, I bet is what's going to happen. So don't leave. You got to stay around to the end because that's the really fucking exciting part. Casey knows.
Oh yeah.
You know about the surprise I got for the end, right? The
Oh
big
my
surprise?
god, dude!
Oh
I was
my
so
God.
surprised
It's going to be so exciting.
When I saw what happened.
I am afraid Greg Winter's putting this out on if you leave early. You better stay the
I think you
whole
should
live
just
stream.
leave.
Hope he doesn't have a fear of missing out.
Well, look, here's the other thing. You know, I've got this thing set up now where after the live stream ends, I can set it so for one person, if they wait there for another 30 minutes, it'll start playing like a secret Easter egg thing. I'm going to set it up for Greg Winters, okay? So as soon as we do this, keep your eyes peeled on the screen because somewhere within the next 30 minutes, a secret Easter egg message is going to come just for you. It's going to be so exciting. You got to stick around for it.
If you like midget snuff porn,
Then you won't like this at all.
Oh.
But if you like things that are really super cool and exciting, then you're going to love it. What am I distilling? I'm distilling my ass on your face. I'm distilling my ass on your face. Dude, reality really doesn't exist to you, eh, Grave Winters? Project less obviously? I don't know. You're just FE. Your FE displays are so fucking half-assed and like just flailing about. Then Black, I loved your videos. Then I built a playlist for you. I also dressed you. Welcome to Aubrey Hepburn Goes Elvish. Do I have to give you $100 to tell you I'm 4 random letters? No. I'll give you 4 random letters. Let's see. M, T, S, and V. I use an ESFP display to make up for my polar FE. Congratulations. 17X, you really are something special. QQ. What does QQ mean?
they're crying eyes. It's like an emote sort of thing.
Oh, man.
QQ right back at you, buddy. I'm sorry about your emotions. Somewhere near Dollywood, I'm sitting in a striped shirt like Eric's. I also have an Eric INTP in my garage. Do. That's good. That's helpful. That's a little bit of slab connection there. A little slab wrangling from you. Hi, Brittany. But if you were claiming that INTJs would be more private about the field than Elon Musk, at good point. Lol, says Grave Winters. QQ again. RRNEJ says, how does polar TE appear differently in INFJs versus ISFJs? It's much more pronounced in ISFJs about much kinds of things, but about other kinds of things, I don't know. Kimberly has intermittent blasts of good TE. She's learned to correct me. She's pretty good at checking my bad TE, better than actually experiencing TE herself, I think. Okay, I'm going to call this a night. My voice is tired with talkings. I need some beverage, some liquids upon my throat, and that will restore my voice to normal for later on in the evening when after a long conversation with Kimberly.
That Grave Winter's mother is calling. He needs his enema. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese, Grave Winters.
Every good little boy needs his enema.
Now, listen, Grave Winters. When your mom's done giving you the enema, tell her I'll see her tomorrow night, all right?
Yeah, he'll probably be back here.
Yeah, of course he will. All this attention. All right, yeah, just wait around for the secret message.
Yawning.
All right, I set it up, okay?
I
I have set it up, so just do stick around for 34 minutes, okay, Grave Winter, and you'll see the Easter egg I got just for you. All right, good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.